I gotta find my angle. I'm gonna find it one day. Just not today. But what is up with you guys? Of course, it's your girl, Child Glizzy. And I'm back with another video. You know, obviously it's a change of setting. I decided to pull that thing out the closet or whatnot. You know, let's just spice it up a little bit. Be official with it, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, today's topic is going to be on teen parenting. We're going to be talking about what it's like being young and sacrifices in the whole nine. So if you just, you know, stick with me for a little bit and just hear me out, we'll get to it. So let's be out there. I got pregnant when I was 17, bro. You had no business being pregnant at 17. But it happened. I was a junior in high school. This time in my life, I was just so everywhere. I had just came home from foster care, serving all those years, you know, just was in the system and the whole thing. So it kind of like, it was new for me to be back home, you know, with my mom after so long. And I began to rebel against her. And, you know, obviously I met my baby dad. You know, I just wanted to be with him. Nobody but him. And that sometimes I beat myself up about it because I still could have went to school. I still could have, you know, walked with my class. I still could have done things. And I should have never put myself in that position anyway to be wanting to just be stuck under his butt, you know. But, you know, it is what it is. It happened. It's in the past. Now, when I found out I was pregnant with my son, I was very excited. I was overly excited. I couldn't believe this was finally happening because I just wanted a baby, you know. I felt like I didn't have enough, and I just felt like a baby would just, I don't know, fill that void, fill that emptiness in me or whatever. So that happened. Time went on, and I just thought it was so cute. And when I never forget walking down the street, and people used to just look at me and just give me dirty looks. And knowing me, I dirty looks right back, like sometimes, not all the time. You know, it was the hormones. Blame it on the pregnancy. Yeah. But anyway, as I walked down the street, get dirty looks. But I used to think I was just so cute. People used to judge me. When I used to tell them how old I was, and you know, that whole thing, they used to be like, yo, you what? You just a baby. But at that point, I was grown. I knew what I was doing with my life, you know. Didn't know shit. Wasn't working. Wasn't doing nothing. So as time went on and the pregnancy got hard. My pregnancy with my son was just very complicated. Not as far as like carrying him and stuff. Yes, DJ? Yeah, like I was saying, my pregnancy, it got hard. Like, not as far as like, you know, my actual pregnancy, but as far as like, you know, with my son's dad, like, I've been through too much through that pregnancy, man. I don't even really want to get into it, like, you know, but that definitely something that's always going to be in my mind. Like, even still to this day, my son's 3 now, and I always think back to that pregnancy. I always even think back to the day that I went into labor, like. So, matter of fact, let's just fast forward to that day. My due date was September 28th, but I ended up having my son on the 24th. So I want to say like September 23rd had came around the corner, and this particular day, like I was getting like cramps and stuff. Mind you, I'm 5 days before my due date. Man, I was getting these cramps. Then I was just in so much pain, and I just kept having like these mild, just little cramps that I thought were Braxton Hicks, because I kept confusing, you know, the Braxton Hicks for me being in labor. And the whole time I just wasn't in labor. My body was just equipping itself, you know, to go through that process. Cool. Whatever. So that day went on, and for some weird reason, I just kept having the urge to just walk. And I walked around. And I even started kicking a soccer ball back and forth with my baby dad. Just kept kicking it. But it was like, it got to a point where, okay, I'm tired, because I was walking up and downstairs. So I was like, I'm too tired, I'm in pain. Man, I went to go use the bathroom at one point, and I noticed there was some type of I don't even remember like what I thought it was, but it was like slimy. But now being though that I know what it is, it was my damn mucus plug. And the mucus plug is what keeps like the cervix closed and what keeps the baby protected from like any bacteria or anything like that. Once that slips, all right, now it's either you going to labor immediately or whatever the case may be. But in my case, it came out. It didn't come all the way out. It was just a little bit, but I saw the blood streak in there, and then it was blood when I was wiping, and I'm like, oh, like, and that's crazy. As I'm talking about this, I literally can physically feel what I was feeling that day. That's the crazy part. But I'm on the toilet, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I noticed that I just was leaking. I wasn't leaking, gushing. It was like little tricklets of water, fluids, as if I was about to pee on myself. But I just kept running back and forth to the bathroom because I'm thinking, I gotta piss, nigga, move. I gotta pee. Like, but it wasn't no pee because I already know I pissed like 82 times within the last 5 minutes. So I know I wasn't tripping. But like I said, me being young, me not knowing anything, I'm not really, you know, on edge as much, but I'm on edge as I'm paying attention to my body. Now, after a point, I'm getting contractions, baby. I was getting them damn things. I was getting them contractions. But I wasn't too sure, like I said, because I thought it was Braxton Hicks, but this time it was different. It was more so in my stomach more than it was in my hips. Y'all know what I'm saying? All I know is there was this movie playing on VH1, or it was either MTV or VH1, one of them, called Knocked Up. And let me tell y'all, God will talk to you. He will try to get your attention and let you know and warn you any way possible, okay? Because let me tell y'all, I'm sitting on the couch all into this movie because at this scene, this lady's water broke. She was in labor. She was on her way to the hospital and she was about to give birth to this baby. And I'm just sitting on the couch holding my big ass stomach in pain, but just so into this movie and me not realizing, bitch, you in labor. Like, you gotta start counting these, timing these contractions. So once the movie was over, I just sat and I looked at my baby dad and I'm like, yo, I think I'm in labor. And he didn't believe me because this was like my third, fourth time back to the hospital, if that be the case. And I'm like, nah, I think that was just a sign. I'm in labor. I'm having contractions. And they see I'm in pain. So now his sister like, all right, well, you know, start timing your contractions. Like, start doing it. If you know, having such and such time, all right, well, you know it's time to go. Baby, I'm trying not to cuss. Them contractions started whooping me. Like, they start rocking me. And I was just like, oh my God, can y'all please call the ambulance? Please call the ambulance. It's time. Like, it's time. It's time. So the ambulance finally came. And I just take my little baby bag and my little baby ass on, strapped to this little thing. And I never forget, it was like 3 girls. I'm not going to say anybody's names. But it was these 3 girls that I had went to school with. And they was like, congratulations. And when they said congratulations, I knew. Hold up. I knew, all right, I'm coming home with a baby. That was like confirmation for me. Because what the hell, I don't know why, it just was. But anyway, so on my way to the hospital, I just keep having contractions. Now at this point, I want to get to the hospital. So I'm like, hey, y'all, please just speed this up because I'm not feeling this. It's time. What the hell? DJ. It's time. So, baby, I get to this hospital, and at this point, these contractions are kicking my ass. I'm leaning over the counter, and it's just so horrible. Like, the contractions were really, like, killing me. Like, and at this point, I'm trying not to cry because, you know, I'm strong. I got this. So, boom. I get admitted. They test me. All right, boom. You're in labor. Your water's breaking. You ain't going home. We having this baby. Huh? I'm doing what? All right, so I got had this baby now. I gotta push this little nigga up out of me. Like, you that ass. Say psych right now. Like, so, anywho, I end up being admitted to my room 7. And I never forget being in there. And at the time went on, I decided, all right, I want to get in the shower. I just need to get in the shower. And I know there was jets on the wall. So I'm thinking the jets, Oh my God, let me tell y'all something. Them jets and the water that was just squirting out there on my back, every contraction I was having, for me, that shit was like, that shit was beautiful. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, it helped a little bit. It didn't take the pain away, but it relaxed me. So after a point, I just couldn't take it. And I was in the shower for like 20 minutes. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I can't. And I'm crying so bad at this point. I'm crying. Hold up. I'm not going to cry now. I don't cry now. I don't cry now. I was crying so bad at this point because it was just like, oh my God. I just was so clueless. Like, this is what the fuck. I didn't think it was that bad. Like, I can't even begin to explain to y'all how painful that shit is. And being, no crying. You know what? Fuck it. Me being so young and having to go through that shit still gets to me because while I'm having a baby, I could have been at home doing my homework. You know, things like that. I could have been at work, you know, with a little job, making a little money. Nah, I'm in the hospital having a baby. Anyway, so this boy decides to want to put my remote control underwater to wash the remote. For whatever reason, I don't know. Now I don't have a TV remote. Gotta love him. Anyway, back to what I was over here crying and stressing about. Yeah, I could have been doing things, you know, other than in the hospital, you know, preparing to have a child. Like, I was not ready for that. So time goes on. I'm in labor. All right, so 6 hours in. Boom. I'm trying to knock it. I'm trying to roll with the punches. I'm trying to get to it. I'm trying my hardest. I'm dealing with the pain. And after a point, I knew I didn't want to get the epidural just yet because I you know, remember watching videos on it. Once you get the epidural, you're done. You're not getting back up. You're numb. You cannot. And I remember asking, well, can you please just give me something so I can go to sleep? So they gave me some morphine. Baby! When I tell you, when that morphine started kicking, baby, I was in there rolling, you hear me? Like, I ain't never felt so good in my life. Like, that shit had me feeling like a straight fiend. Like, I was like, oh yeah, mind you, it's supposed to put you to sleep. I stayed up for like 3 extra minutes because after a point I couldn't take it no more. I had to go to sleep. But I'm just talking to the nurse like, yeah, you gonna have to give me some of this. Take this. Let me take some of this home. Like, and mind you, I'm just high. And my baby dad is just cracking up like, yo, you really flow. I'm like, no, this is the best feeling. Like, I went to sleep for like a good 3 hours. Now, mind you, when you sleep on morphine, I still felt the contractions, but I was knocked out, so I wasn't moving or nothing, and I slept good, baby. I slept real good, okay? So after it started wearing off, and I started to wake up, I'm like, all right, now these contractions got me literally in tears at this point. Like, I'm crying. I'm just going through it because I'm like, oh, my God, can I please get some more morphine? But the nurse was like, nah, you ain't getting no more. You can't have no more. And I think it's because I said what I said, or because they didn't just want to OD on it, because when I'm on morphine, my son was on morphine. Anyway, damn. So after a point, I just was like, you know what? I can't take this no more. Like, a couple hours went by. I just couldn't take it no more, baby. I got that epidural. I had to get it. I had to because it was just too much for me. So I'm sitting there, and now mind you, let me show you my body. So boom, now I'm pregnant again. So what you gotta do is, when you're pregnant, you gotta bring your head like this. And you gotta stay still. You gotta put your arms to your side. You gotta stay still. Throughout the contractions and all, you cannot move. When a doctor is putting that needle in your back, you can probably still see my marks. These 3 marks is actually from my daughter. That's how many times these niggas start to stick me. But anyway, you getting a needle in your spine. And you gotta sit like this. Well, not really, but like this. And you can't move, because if you move, baby, you're going to be bound to a wheelchair for the rest of your life. So that happened, and I was so scared, like, to the point where I wanted to cry, but I wasn't even about to cry. I was not about to move no muscle. I just sat there real still. The contractions came, I just ate them shit. Once he put the needle in, and I don't know what the hell he was doing. I think he was, like, screwing it to my spine or something, but you feel it and you hear it. For me, I heard it, and my leg, like, jumped a little bit. And they was like, well, once you feel that in that leg, that means it's working. Baby, when I tell you, when that medicine started working and it kicked in, it just was the most loveliest feeling. Like, you can't feel nothing. The contractions, all that, it just go away. Now I'm numb. And I just laid back. I took my ass to sleep. I slept beautifully. So that was that. And I woke up thinking I'm about to get up and go potty. No, child, you stuck, bitch. You are not getting back up. Oh, cool. Now, mind y'all, I already done came in, went to bed, woke up the next morning. Guess what I had for breakfast? Nothing. You cannot eat anything when you're in labor. I was in labor with my son for 36 hours. So y'all understand how I felt. Time goes on, you know, the clock is ticking, the nurses is coming and checking me, and they notice my water haven't broken yet. So at this point, Claire, the lady that delivered both of my kids, actually, she came and she used this tool and she just broke my water for me. And when I tell y'all, for some reason, like I said, I couldn't feel anything, but I felt that, and it just was like all the pressure in my stomach just went down, and it was like the best feeling ever for me, because I was just like, oh. Like I feel like I could breathe for some weird reason. I just felt better. Oh my God! But once my water broke, I started feeling the contractions again. But I don't think it was the contractions. It was DJ's head moving down. I felt this very strong pain in my butthole for like 3 hours. This is my first baby, and it's time to get this show on the road. Like, it's time. So I'm so scared, y'all. I'm so scared. Because I didn't know what to expect. My mom's voice was in the back of my head. Her telling me, like, yo, it's the ring of fire. It's like a fiery sensation that you feel once the baby's head get there. That's all I could think about. She scared me when she said that. And they was like, all right, Chanel, it's time to push. You got to push like you're pooping. I'm okay. I got you on that. So I start pushing, and I'm pushing, and I'm going. At first, I'm in this position. And I'm just going. Pushing like I'm pooping, like they say. Oh, yeah, we take a Azuki. And I didn't poop the first time. After a while, DJ was being a little stubborn, and his head wasn't trying to come out. Well, but plus because I was screaming, too. One thing, also, like, to any mommies who are about to have their babies, keep this in mind. And I pray that you think about me the day it's time to have your baby. Before your baby's head is out, and I cannot stress this enough, do not scream. Because when you scream, you're pushing the baby back in, you're closing your cervix. You do not want that to happen by any means. You want to get your baby out. So in this time, when you are pushing the first couple pushes, you better not even try to, none of that. You need to breathe. And I think they call it the T breathes or some shit like that. When you go in between, like as you're breathing, you got to take little breaths when you're breathing. Don't hold your breath too, because they're going to tell you to keep push. Try to take little breaths in between, or you will pass out. You're pushing, and you're trying to breathe, and sometimes you'll be pushing, and they'll be like, all right, take a break for 2-3 seconds, and you're going right back in. You're going to pass out. So when you're pushing, just like that. Don't kill yourself. Don't make it harder for yourself. It's not easy. It's not. Some women push for hours. Me, I pushed DJ ass out in 15 minutes. Y'all hear me? I was not playing. And I think I pushed him out in 15 minutes because after a point in time, I kept watching the clock that was in front of me. When I kept seeing the little hand keep going, at this point, I'm not about to be that one. I was getting mad. So I was just giving it my all. And I just pushing up, was like, "Argh!" And just kept doing that. And probably like the 4th time I did that, my baby came sliding right on out. Let me tell y'all something. No feeling. Nothing compares to finally having this baby that you've carried in your body for 9 whole consecutive months. You don't take a break from that baby. You pregnant to the day you give birth. And when I tell y'all, when they first put DJ on me, for me, it felt weird. It felt weird because what the hell? It just was like, oh my God, this is my baby. That's all I kept saying was, oh my God, I just had a baby. That's my baby, oh my God. After this point, obviously, you know, when the umbilical cord is cut, they take the baby to go get checked in the whole 9. So while that's going on, now you have to go through the pushing the placenta out. I got scared when Claire told me, all right, you got to start pushing again. Because I thought I had another baby in there. No, I just had to deliver the placenta. Now, that part for me, it was not bad. It just feel weird. It just feel like a huge ass blood clot that comes out. It's not as bad. Now, DJ tore me from the front to the back. From the coo to the booty. And that was the worst because I had stitches on top of a hemorrhoid. My butthole was inside out. I'm going to just say that's what it felt like. I had no idea what I was doing when we finally left the hospital. Because in the hospital, I was assisted in the whole 9. But I was so afraid to go to sleep because DJ would not like to sleep in his crib. He would not go in the little crib that they provide. So now I'm up for hours and hours holding this baby. My baby dad knocked out sleep. Getting the best sleep ever. And I'm just up. For like 3 days straight, I didn't get no kind of sleep. No type of sleep. None whatsoever. And that experience was just so horrible for me because when I went home, I still didn't get no sleep. I didn't sleep for like 2 additional days. And I freaked out. Like, I really almost lost my shit. Like, I don't know what it was, but I got into an argument with my baby dad. And I think he was actually trying to leave. I don't know what happened. I think we was arguing over something that it wasn't even that deep. But we got into an argument and he just kept threatening that he was going to leave. And when I tell y'all, that was like the worst experience ever for me. Ever, 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 ever. Like, I can't even stress it enough. Like, I literally, right now, I can feel what I felt back then. Like, that was the worst. And I've snapped, like I said. I didn't get no sleep. I'm tired. You keep arguing with me. I just had a baby. I'm in pain. I couldn't even sit right. I had to sit to the side with this baby on my boob. Now, mind you, when you breastfeed, you still tend to get contractions. Like, it's so weird, but it don't last all the time. But that's what was happening for me. I was having these very bad contractions. My asshole was hurting, and I was tired. Couldn't eat, barely shower, nothing. So they finally stepped up to help me, and, you know, the rest was what it was. And then a few months later, I ended up a single mom. And here I am. At this time, I'm 18. Now, I'm back with my mom. I'm living with my mom and stuff. And now I'm taking care of this baby. And I'm getting it with the help of my mom. And, you know, my little sister came along. She came back home. And, you know, I was getting more help. And you know, things got better from there on out. So, with all that being said, for the young mommies out there who have babies, you know I know what it's like. Having to give up your freedom, give up your life to tend to a child. You want to do things. You want to go out with your friends who don't got babies and the whole 9. And you just want to do things, but you can't because you got your child at home. And for me, my mom wouldn't keep my son unless I had to go to school or unless I went to work. But she wouldn't keep him. She just wouldn't. It was times when he was a baby where she'd just come in the morning and come and take him. But after a certain point, my mom stopped taking him because, I don't know, I guess that was her way of trying to make me independent. And me, I'm not the type of person to constantly keep asking for help because now I'm not about to be made out to think that I'm not going to do it. So I had to figure it out. And here I am today, raising 2 children. I did it again, y'all. I done got pregnant again. But I don't want to get into that story this time. Next week, I will be telling you guys a story about how I got pregnant with LeiLani and the pregnancy and the whole thing, shebang, shabang. But what I did want to say was you girls who out there who's doing it on your own or just not doing it on your own, just young mommies, y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Make sure that you put your baby first. And I know it's going to be hard at first, but in time it will get better because years down the line, you're going to be sitting back and you just going to be watching, just chilling. Like, damn, I did that. You keep going. Don't give up. You know, postpartum depression is a thing. And I'm actually going to link a number that anybody could call, you know, for stuff like this, if you want to talk to somebody, if you want to vent about anything, if you want to talk about the moon, you could just talk, just vent, just text, just do something. I don't want nobody feeling like, you know, horrible. It's a thing. It's a natural thing. We made our beds. Now we got to lay in it. You know, it's the hard truth, but you got it. Keep going. But that is it with today's video. This is long enough. I really do pray and hope that you guys really enjoyed this. I tried to get through it as much without, you know, being interrupted by my son. But then as y'all can see, I didn't put his ass to sleep. Okay? But yes, I will catch you guys next week. And I will catch y'all when I catch y'all lacking.